When this project was first pitched to me, I said yes quicker than anything I've ever been presented before. That's just because I have this intense nostalgia. I grew up on Atari. The moment that the first cartridge appeared in the bucket, the first time that I saw a mound of dirt that had just been pulled out and there was an E.T. game sitting at the top of it, was kind of surreal.
We found an intact E.T. the video game. E.T. is definitely here.
Here we are. I'm actually holding one of the E.T. cartridges that was pulled out of the landfill. It was a legend in the video game industry for 3 decades, and now, finally, we can say with absolute certainty that it is true. Atari was really buried out here in the New Mexico desert.
The worst video game ever. E.T. for Atari.
It was bad. Brutal, unfair, didn't make a lot of sense.
How did a company that was so innovative fail so miserably?
The zenith of Atari, the point in the late 70s and early 80s when this kind of group of sort of creative genius engineers came together to create this amazing company. And I think it was a kind of completely unique company at the time. It was doing something that no one else did.
Over there is where the hot tub was. Inside on the first floor, there's some great stuff that went on in that room. Over here, here's the hill that, you know, one day I was wearing a dashiki shirt, which I was very into back then, and I would do somersaults down the hill. I might have had some cocktails that afternoon at that point.
Did you know that you were entering this crazy party atmosphere that you'd be?
No, even though I was told I was, I had no expectation that it could really exist.
The best recruiting tool we could have for an engineer was to bring him over to one of our parties.
Hey, what's happening, people? Hey, how's it going? What's happening, huh?
And he felt, hey, I'm a nerd. There are girls here. They're talking to me. It's good.
That was the culture. These guys are the lifeblood of the business. They do what they want to do, and that's fine.
That's what made them the fastest rising company in American business history, and also made them the fastest falling company in American business history.
And just the mystery itself was really the thing that drew me to it, is that why after 30 years do so many people care so much about a bunch of garbage? We needed to find a director who first and foremost was a part of the gaming community, understood the gaming community, and there weren't a lot of people who fit that description, and it sort of was a little bit of a no-brainer.
He's got a kind of enduring fascination with the evolution of myths and legends. He made a film called Incident at Loch Ness, which sort of dealt with mythology and the mythology of Loch Ness.
I think the reasons why Atari buried these games in the desert, they're actually a little bit more complicated and mundane than people would like them to be. What we found out was that they used to crush the games, and crushing the games is more expensive than burying them. So Joe Lewandowski is the guy who actually figured out where the games were. He's the historian, if you will.
About 4 years ago, all of a sudden, a bunch of people started calling, and it's like, what the heck's, what's the interest? So it's kind of entertaining to read all that when you actually were there and knowing what had happened. And then we went through the process of locating and doing all this stuff and gathering information and witnesses, and it's like, maybe there is a story.
There was also this guy, Jim Heller, who appeared really just weeks before the movie went into production. And Jim was actually the guy who buried the games. He was the individual at Atari who was responsible for getting those games and putting them in this landfill.
I worked in Atari from 1976 to 1983. I do not know exactly what was sent up here. I just know it was by the truckload.
Once Jim materialized, I think it helped narrow down the search to the point that we were able to be successful. We took up about 1,500, I would say, that they thought were representative of the whole. They estimated 750,000 cartridges had been buried. But it wasn't just bad games. There were lots of really good games there. The question of what happens to the cartridges is a little bit unanswered, at least from my point of view. I think they're going to put some on display. I don't know if they're going to sell some of them. I've heard rumors that they will. There was this funny moment at the end of shooting where I thought, oh, good, our cartridges. And they were like, no, not your cartridges. You're just making a documentary. I was like, oh yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm going to give you one of the games that we pulled from the ground.
Are you serious?
I am, and I should tell you, this is illegal because technically the city owns it, so you could go to jail. Put it in your pants before you walk out.
Hello there, I'm Howard Scott Warshaw, designer of Yar's Revenge, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and E.T. Subscribe to the Wired channel for more action like this.